Hi there, welcome back to art. So winter isn't quite over, but instead of moaning about it, we are going to celebrate it like the artist Ted Harrison, and I hope you had a chance to watch the videos of his work. Like Ted Harrison, we're going to use line, shape, and vibrant colors to capture the beauty of the Yukon landscape. So stay tuned and I'll show you how. For this project, you're going to need your sketchbook or a piece of white paper, maybe a planning pencil, a black Sharpie marker, make sure it's Sharpie so it's waterproof, your new markers, some watercolors, a paintbrush, and a cup of water. For the second part of the project, where you're going to add a house maybe and a stone sculpture called an insuk, you are going to need a separate piece of white paper, a light colored crayon or Posca pen, and a piece of black paper. So let's get started. Find a nice white sheet or get out your white piece of paper. And as you noticed in this picture, I had two areas. I had warm colors above and cool colors down below. You can do it that way, or you might like to reverse it. Ted Harrison made good use of warm colors and cool colors. So I'm going to just lightly with my pencil plan it out. I'm going to have some lines running along this way, and then I am going to have some dramatic mountains, some in front and some behind. I like it. So then I'm going to outline it in a black Sharpie marker. With Ted Harrison's landscapes, you really see the outline. Sometimes it's black, but sometimes it's done with white or pastel colors. And you can choose what you're going to do. I'm going to start out with black. And there are my simple shapes. I'm going to go back over them to make sure they're nice and heavy. I like a nice line that you can really see and show up. And each of these shapes I am then going to fill with some bright, vibrant Ted Harrison colors. Okay, so the next step is to think about our sky. In my picture, I decided to make a kind of a vibrating, warm colored sky. And you can do that with your brand new markers. I'm going to sort of go with the warm colors, red, orange, yellow, and I have a pink and a red. And I will start probably with the lightest color, put it down, color it in. The next lightest color, maybe an orange. Maybe I'll move to a pink. I'm going to move my way out the color wheel. I can leave a little bit of white space, but not too much. And maybe I'll go to red. And then I'll just repeat that. Red, orange, pink, yellow. Stay tuned and I'll show you how and fast forward. So my sky is done, and I made mine radiate out from the middle, but you might also like to make your lines go horizontally across the sky. So what I'm going to do now is add a little bit of water to this marker to make it blend. And it doesn't blend right away. Sometimes you have to let the water sit for a minute and soak into the paper, but eventually the colors will start to blend. If you want to add a little bit of yellow, because it blends nicely with all these, it kind of works well and speeds up the process. My next step after this is to do my colors down below. And I have warm colors in the sky, so I am going to do cool colors down below. The cool colors are the blues and the greens. And I could do them with marker, but I think I'm going to switch to paint. One thing I might do is use my new markers as just a little outline. Maybe this one's going to be a blue. Maybe a blue here. Hope you do a better job than I'm doing. Maybe a little green on one of these mountains. Maybe a purple. Sometimes Ted made pink mountains, wonderful colors reflected from the sky onto the snow. All right, and then I'm just going to use my watercolors and fill in. Stay tuned, I'll show you how. So this part is done, and I'm just going to put it aside to dry. And what happened here is this became so dark, I was not happy with it. So I just went over it with a little bit of white paint so it looked a little more like snow. So it was a happy accident, and those things happen. The next thing we're going to add to our landscape is something in the foreground. I'm going to do a little cabin and maybe one of those wonderful stone sculptures that you'll see. So to do that, you need a smaller piece of white paper. You can either use a Crayon to do your cabin, an oil pastel, or I'm going to use a Posca pen because I have it, and if you're at school, I will loan you my Posca pens. Ted Harrison not always used a black outline. Sometimes he used colored outlines, and so that's what I'm going to do here. I'm going to make a little cabin. Sometimes he did people. You decide what you want. Oh, I think I'm going to go with a cabin. That's just sort of a nice simple thing to do. Let me color that in. And I am now going to paint it in with some vibrant, unusual colors. Maybe I'll put some lines through my cabin to give it texture. Okay, so I painted my house, I left it to dry, and while I was drying it, I cut out some little black stones from my stone sculpture. You simply cut this out, and we'll glue it on here and put our stone sculpture together. Stay tuned and I'll show you how. So the final touch, once everything is glued down, is to go back with your pens and just make sure any lines that got covered up, those nice Ted Harrison outlines, go back over them to make sure they really show up and pop, just like Ted Harrison's work. So take your time to do a nice job, and when you're all done, don't forget to send me a picture of your work. I can't wait to see it.